Introduction to Verbal Behavior. Verbal behavior, as first described by B.F. Skinner, is a way to understand communication by looking at how language works as a type of behavior. Skinner explained that verbal behavior involves interactions between a speaker and a listener, where the speaker uses words or other forms of communication to get what they need, share information, or respond to others. Instead of focusing on grammar or sentence structure, Skinner studied the reasons behind why people say things and how their words are affected by the environment around them. This approach helps us understand how language is learned and used in everyday life. What are verbal operants? Verbal operants are the different ways people use language to communicate, such as asking for things, naming objects, repeating words, or answering questions. Verbal operants. The four most common verbal operants taught by RBTs during applied behavior analysis intervention are MAND, Tact, Echoic, and Intraverbal. Why are verbal operants important in ABA? Understanding verbal operants helps RBTs teach meaningful communication skills that improve a person's ability to interact with others and meet their own needs. How verbal operants help learning. By focusing on specific types of language use, verbal operants allow RBTs to break down and teach communication step by step, making it easier for learners to succeed.
A MAND is when someone asks for something they want or need, like a drink of water or help with a task. When you hear the word MAND, think of someone making a request. MANDs usually occur when someone is missing or wanting something. For example, if a person is thirsty and asks for water. When a person uses a MAND, they typically get what they ask for. Let's look at a few examples.
MAND for food. A child says, "cookie," and points to the jar. Then the parent gives them a cookie. MAND for help. A client signs help while holding a shoelace and the RBT helps them tie their shoe. MAND for a break. During homework, a teenager says, "Can I take a break?" and the parent allows a 5-minute pause. MAND for attention. A toddler tugs on their dad's shirt and says, "Look at me." The dad turns and gives them his attention. MAND for information. A client asks, "Where is the bathroom?" and their RBT points to the door, showing them the way.
A tact is when someone names or describes something they see, hear, smell, taste, or feel. When you hear the word tact, think of labeling or identifying. Tacts happen when someone identifies or names something in their environment. For example, if a person sees a dog and says "dog," they are using a tact. Tacts are often followed by a positive social response or positive confirmation, like praise or other socially rewarding behavior from the listener. The listener might say, "Yes, that is a big, fluffy dog." Let's look at a few examples.
Tact an event. A client sees it's raining and says, "Rain." The RBT responds, "Yes, it's raining very hard." Tact an action. A client is shown a picture of someone running and says, "Running." The RBT nods and says, "That's right, he is running." Tact a feeling. A teenager says, "I'm happy," while smiling. The teacher acknowledges, "I can see you're happy." Tact a sound. A child hears a fire truck and says, "Siren." The caregiver replies, "You're right, that's a siren." Tact a color. A client points to a red ball and says, "The ball is red." The registered behavior technician then praises them with, "Yes, the ball is red."
An echoic is when someone repeats what they hear. When you hear the word echoic, think of echoing or imitating. Echoics happen when a person repeats a word or phrase they've just heard. For example, if someone says apple and the learner responds by saying apple, they are using an echoic. Echoics are often followed by positive reinforcement, such as praise, for accurate repetition. The teacher might say, Great job saying apple, just the same as me. Let's look at a few examples.
Echoic word. The RBT says ball and the client repeats ball. The registered behavior technician then smiles and says, "Good job saying ball." Echoic sound. The caregiver says meow and the child imitates meow. The caregiver responds, "That's a great meow, just like a cat." Echoic sentence. The teacher says, "I like pizza," and the learner echoes, "I like pizza." The teacher responds, "Great job repeating the whole sentence." Echoic prompt. The registered behavior technician says, "I want juice," and the client repeats, "I want juice." The registered behavior technician nods and praises, "Nice job repeating that sentence," and also gives the client some juice. This is an example of the registered behavior technician using an echoic prompt to teach the client to demand for juice.
An intraverbal is when someone responds to a question or statement with words that are different but related. When you hear the word intraverbal, think of answering a question or continuing a conversation. Intraverbals happen when a person gives a related response to what someone else has said. For example, if someone says, "What's your name?" and the learner responds, "Sarah," they are using an intraverbal. Intraverbals are often encouraged with praise or other positive social responses. The listener might say, "That's right. Your name is Sarah." Let's look at a few examples. Intraverbal for a song. The teacher sings, "Twinkle, twinkle little," and the learner finishes, "Star." The teacher praises, "Great job finishing the song." Intraverbal for a fact. The caregiver asks, "What color is the sky?" and the learner responds, "Blue." The caregiver smiles and says, "That's right, the sky is blue." Intraverbal for a category. The RBT asks, "Name an animal," and the learner says, "Dog." The RBT gives the client a high five and replies, "You got it. A dog is an animal." Intraverbal for a conversation. The parent says, "What did you eat for lunch?" and the child answers, "Pizza." The parent replies, "Yum. I love pizza too."
RBTs play a vital role in transforming the lives of their clients by teaching essential communication skills through the elementary verbal operants: command, tact, echoic, and intraverbal. These communication skills not only help clients meet their immediate personal needs, they lay the foundation for lifelong connections and relationships. Communication is a universally social behavior, and mastering it opens the door to meaningful interactions, shared experiences, and deeper bonds with others. By fostering these skills, RBTs empower clients to navigate the world more independently and build relationships that enrich their lives for years to come. An RBT's work truly changes lives, one word at a time.